Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I'm your host, Kat Matthews. I have a little cold, a little sickness, a little illness. You could probably tell. Please excuse the gruff voice, or should I say gruffer than usual voice. I was sick all week. Definitely caught something. Nothing major, but sinus pressure, all that. You know how it is. Still felt I had to do an episode considering the events that transpired the past week. Now, as you could assume, this is not going to be the lighthearted, fun, comedy-ish episode of Midnight Therapy. This is going to be more of a somber, sad, reflective episode. All I could say to summarize all this is September 2025, this month, just feels different. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe this stuff happens all the time since the dawn of man, and everybody says this, and this is everybody. Like every fool thinks that it's different. Like when a young kid likes a girl, and he goes, "You don't get it. This girl's different." And we go, "Oh, we've heard that before." Maybe I'm naive in that sense, but I felt a change. I don't know. I felt a change. This is just a gut feeling. I don't, let's say, have proof. How could you have proof of a vibe, of a essence, of a gut feeling, of intuition? I can't cite that. I'm just telling you from my opinion, my worldview, my thoughts is I feel that this month something changed. Now, I'm going to keep this episode brief. I'm sure you've heard thousands of talking heads regurgitate the same information that you already know. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and a Ukrainian refugee woman was murdered on a train. And there was also several school shootings in recent times. And America remembered 9/11, September 11th, just yesterday. A lot of evil. There's no other word. It's just pure evil. And that's what I think people are missing. It's not left or right or this versus that or this affiliation versus that, this happened because of this and you don't know the history. Call it for what it is. It's evil. And evil is running rampant in 2025, especially this month. Just for the record, you've probably heard this before. Some people are saying it. I want to make this abundantly clear. We as people, and I believe we are souls, and this human body is our vessel that we traverse this beautiful planet through, this experience, this human experience. But let's just say, for lack of a better term, or to shorten the term, as people, as humans, we are not supposed to see these kind of things. If you went to war, World War II, one of those wars where it was just boots on the ground wars, you may have seen those things. World War II and back. We could go up to even modern day warfare, but technology advanced in modern times. I understand that, but war is where you would see those things. And a lot of those people that went to war came back not the same. There's a reason for that. There's a reason we have PTSD and a term for this condition that it puts people in. You shouldn't be seeing warfare-like gore while you're watching TikToks on the couch when you're 11 years old. You get what I'm saying? This is going to have an effect on us. And to act like it isn't is foolish and unhealthy. To see someone like Charlie Kirk die the way he did in HD on your smartphone on a TikTok app that is meant for watching people dance and make food recipe videos, to see that while scrolling and then immediately put up a post celebrating his death, you are evil. There is something terribly wrong with your mind and your soul, and I pray that God have mercy on your soul. I really mean that. You may think I'm kidding. You may think that's a parody or a joke. I mean that. Even if it wasn't him, to wish death and celebrate gruesome, terrible death on anyone, good luck. I hope you find peace one day, and I hope the demon that is inside you goes away, but it's sick. I disagree with a lot of people. I never wished any of them to be dead. Not once. Not once. And that should be the default standard that we keep for humanity. You understand that? This is going to have negative effects, seeing all this traumatic evil going on. Now, and we move on so quickly, which is why, I mean, I'm 2 days late to this. I wanted to process it, see what happens before it becomes old news and we move on. But I got to tell you, this affected me quite a bit. The train murder really disturbed me. I would say that was the most disturbing video I've ever seen. Arguably one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. I wish I never saw it. I saw the whole thing uncut, and it thoroughly shook me to my core. It was that disturbing. Maybe because I still have, I don't know, humanity in me, empathy, compassion, humility, understanding, perspective. I don't know, those qualities, I don't know, maybe they're lost in most people. I still have them. And it bothered me. And then the next day or so, I have to see Charlie Kirk get killed in that way. And that's arguably equally disturbing, if not more. Like I said, I'm not even going to talk too much about people that mocked or was happy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way. You people are, I could go on for a rant, but then I would be stooping to your level. Never argue with stupid people. They will bring you down to their level and beat you through experience. Mark Twain. Don't wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, but the pig likes it. You know these quotes. I just have no words for you. And these are people that you know and love. Don't think they wouldn't turn on you. Don't trust these people. Here's my lesson. If you see someone celebrating the death of someone they disagree with, do not keep them in your life. If you have to, if they're your family or whatever, sure, but keep your guard up around them, because that could switch up real quick. And that quality, that attribute of a personality can't just be shut off. If you guys ever got in some sort of fight or an altercation or dispute, don't think they wouldn't think the same way about you. That's all I could say. You should never wish death, especially that kind of death, on anyone. Period. Case closed. Case closed. Now, I'm going to talk briefly about the train murderer. This woman, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, Iryna Zarutska, again, Ukrainian refugee, fleeing a war-stricken country to come to the U.S., the land of opportunity. You understand that? A first world country. Comes here, and she's young. She's 23 years old. She's trying to ride the train, bothering no one, looking at her phone. I think she probably has headphones in or AirPods in. Has a hood up, not bothering anyone. Sits down. Within seconds, a monster, that's the only word you could use, a monster degenerate, low-life scum gets up and slashes her throat with a knife. Shows no remorse, multiple slashes, and then walks away, dripping her blood, and takes his hoodie off. Rambling nonsense. She was in shock for about 2 seconds and then died. And then no one on that train came to her aid to help her. They acted like this sort of thing. The witnesses acted like this sort of thing happens every day. I'm telling you, this is different. People never used to act this way. People never used to act this way. So cold. The earth, people, humans have gone cold. I'm telling you. And it's scary. That's the only word. It's actually disturbing. Now, this guy, I'm not even going to say his name. He had 14 previous serious major arrests. Giant rap sheet. Let go again on the streets. What are you supposed to do with someone like that? It's a mystery. This guy was mentally insane. I'm only going to bring this up because we bring this up on the show a lot. There was an odd call about this guy earlier in the year. It was a welfare check, and he was stating that there was a man-made material inside him that the government put inside him that made him go insane and controlled him. Now, I mean, maybe the guy was insane. Is it likely that he was just insane? Yeah. But because of that call, it does make you think MK Ultra type stuff. I will say that's the only odd anomaly there. Either way, regardless of if you wish to bring up a whole different can of worms, which is the government's odd projects with MK Ultra and mind control, so be it. Either way, this woman is still dead for no reason. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be straightforward. That monster deserves the death penalty, and that's it. That is it. That is all. Reason being, I will hear out a case. There needs to be a jury. You need to have a judge. I understand that. For certain crimes, if you assault someone, what happened before that? What was the altercation? What was the fight over? Even if you accidentally, let's say, kill someone in a fight or something, or self-defense, you explain that, maybe not so much of an eye for an eye thing. I get that. Even an act of passion, let's say. This guy didn't know this woman. This woman did nothing except exist and sit down, and he killed her for no reason. That's not redeemable on this earth. I hope his soul is saved, maybe for the afterlife. But on this planet, there is no room for random, insane murderers. Understand that? You cannot be so unpredictable and dangerous and be allowed to walk around. And to keep you in a cage like an animal in a prison system and give you 3 square meals a day and a cot and some TV and an Xbox seems like a grandiose waste of time and resources. Sporadic violence cannot be unchained. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let that out into the world. 14 times. No one ever thought to give this guy a psychological evaluation or maybe check him into a modern day asylum of some sort, maybe a mental health hospital. This couldn't have just appeared out of nowhere. After that phone call, you should have known something was up. Either way, rest in peace to that beautiful soul. I don't even know this woman, but from what I've seen, and regardless of that, if you look at the situation, she was innocent. She didn't do a damn thing. So I'm going to call her an innocent soul. Rest in peace to her. That was a devastating thing to watch, and I wish I never seen it, and I wish it never happened. Did you notice that, and I hate to compare and I hate to do the whataboutism stuff, but did you notice that no protests or riots went on after that. And I hate to compare, but let's compare it. Let's juxtapose this to the George Floyd situation. George Floyd, wrongful death for sure. He did not need to die that day. But he did put himself in a situation where he was being confronted by law enforcement, police officers, and one way or another was resisting arrest. Now, was the force too much and excessive? Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? There was an entry point to that situation, meaning George Floyd did some things to get in that situation. The $100 bill or whatever at the store, the acting sporadic on the street, the resisting of the arrest. That's how he got into his situation that was still wrongful. This woman did nothing to get into her situation except exist. So we could say logically that this woman was slightly, if not extremely, clearly more innocent than George Floyd. George Floyd died, and there were riots all over the country for weeks. This woman did nothing, died, and no one cares. Few people care. They're going to paint murals of her, they said. Okay. But where is and I'm not saying riots are the answer, but where is the protests to say, we will not stand for violence just to leave the house, just to go on a train somewhere, just to walk in a park? Like, we will not stand it. We will not take this anymore. Where is that? That tells me one of two things. There are certain protests that are orchestrated and funded by ginormous, powerful donors that have motivations and agendas in mind when they do them to organize them. And that naturally protests and or riots that big would not naturally occur. When they wish for them to occur, they will. If it suits their agenda. If it doesn't, it's old news. And that's a travesty. That's disgusting. You should be equally as outraged. If you were outraged over George Floyd, you should be equally as outraged for that poor woman on the subway. If you truly don't see race or gender or sexual orientation or any of those fake categories we put ourselves into, if you just see humans and wish to preserve humanity, you should be equally as outraged. Hypocrisy is alive and well in 2025. And with that being said, let's talk about Charlie Kirk. 31 years old, husband, father. This hits home to me. I'm a new father. Charlie Kirk had 2 young children. They call him a conservative commentator, and he had a podcast. This guy's been at it for a long time. He's been doing it since he was 18. He resonated very much so with the youth, and he was a specialist at debating. It was truly an art form for him. He's one of the best. I don't know many that are better than him. He's quick on his feet, master of rhetoric and persuasion, and also his recall and quick thinking was unmatched. The guy didn't go to college. He walked the walk, talked the talk, could debate anyone, gave people the opportunity to say their side. People called him provocative, controversial, just trying to get clicks. I think he was one of the only few people letting civil discourse go on and giving an opportunity to do so, rather than living in an echo chamber and only being validated and reassured by those that share the same belief as you. Being taken out of your echo chamber and your worldview for a minute can do you some good. If you're constantly reassured and surrounded by people that only pat you on the back and tell you you're right, you never grow as a person and you never learn anything. What he did at the very least was allow at least one college student to actually become a critically thinking adult. Because I can tell you this right now, in the classroom, in the college university, that wasn't going on. It was ideological propaganda. And I'll tell you that right now, especially Ivy League. It was young, vulnerable, impressionable children that just became adults being indoctrinated by people that never left the echo chamber of academia, that only had careers because they were funded by those that kept the lights on. Charlie Kirk, obviously, I never knew Charlie Kirk personally, but this guy, I followed and watched his content for probably 10 years, going on that at least, almost 10 years. The guy was in my algorithm. I saw his shorts. I used to watch his debates all the time. I feel like I knew him. I feel like some of you people out there might relate to this. Like you watch somebody on social media, you don't know them, like whether it's a Joe Rogan or whoever, but you feel like you know them because you spent a lot of time listening to them talk. Charlie Kirk was kind of like that for me. I got used to seeing his face every dozen or so reels. It would be one of his. I never agreed with everything he said. You can't agree with everything. Even your partner, your spouse, your best friend, you're going to disagree with probably half of the things. Doesn't mean you don't like them, and it definitely doesn't mean you should kill them. Pretty sure that's things that we knew clear as day in kindergarten, but now that's confusing to some adults. You know this already. Charlie Kirk was brutally and fatally shot in the neck at Utah Valley University, September 10th, 2025. He founded the company Turning Point USA at 18 years old, and I think that's such an ironic title and name, Turning Point, because I feel that this event, his death, is a turning point in the USA. We have reached a turning point, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that right now. If you don't feel the change, you will soon. I'm telling you, I don't know what the change is going to be, but something changed that day. That is a day that will live in infamy, as they say. There is a spiritual war going on, whether you know it or not. It is good versus evil. I don't care what religion you believe in. I don't care if you're atheist, agnostic, whatever. There is a good versus evil battle going on, and it's what side you are going to side with. I know what side I'm on. Good always wins. Might not win the battle, but it'll win the war. I'll tell you that right now. Freedom of speech must be protected, and we cannot be afraid. Do not let this stifle your vision. Do not let this make you run away with your tail between your legs. This is a call to stand taller and not back down. We cannot live in fear. You cannot run away. If you're out there and you have a message and it's good and you know it's good and positive and it's the good fight, never be afraid. Be the man in the arena or the woman in the arena. You know what I mean? We must keep fighting the good fight. We need to preserve civil discourse. You should be able to talk to one another and leave peacefully, agree to disagree, talk to people from all walks of life, all cultures, all religions, get along, break bread with them, hang with them, talk with them, go places with them. You don't have to agree on everything. That's what makes life exciting. If we all agreed on everything all the time, it'd be boring. Go experience different cultures, go experience different people, get to know them, talk to them, see what their interests are. That is what this life is all about. You cannot just hate people for disagreeing with you on one or two things, or even a million things. Find the thing you agree on and let that be the common ground. I can't believe I have to be the one that says this. It's insane to me. I'm going to bring up Socrates, the Greek philosopher. The allegory of the cave, you know it, I assume. If not, I'll summarize it. It's an allegory, it's a story about these men chained to a wall in a cave, and there's a light source, it's a flame behind them, and it's casting shadows on the wall. Little do they know that it's shadows. They think that's life. So they see a shadow of a bull or a person or the sun or, I don't know, a wheel or a sword, and they think that's really those objects. And then one day, these mysterious figures let one of those chained men out into the daylight, and he realizes that everything is just a shadow. That what he was seeing down there was just shadows of reality. So he goes back down, all excited to tell the chained men that we've been living a lie. This is not real. This is a shadowed reality. I've seen the light. They look at him like he's crazy. They want to kill him. How dare he question their worldview that is 100% correct? Because they know it's correct, because they've all seen it with their own eyes. Moral of the story is, when you try to show those living in a shadowed reality the light, they will think you're crazy. It's only ironic to mention that Socrates was killed, sentenced to death for corrupting the youth. If that isn't poetic justice irony, I don't know what is. He encouraged the youth to question authority and ironically insinuated that there was one God instead of multiple Greek gods, if you interpret the literature that way. That's the way I interpreted it. This is ironic. The martyrs are still alive and well in 2025. I'm going to be honest, this feels like a MLK, JFK moment for our generation. You know, the Giordano Brunos of life being burnt at the stake and being correct just because the incorrect majority saw you as a threat, that never went away. And that's sick. But Charlie Kirk does feel like the JFK of this generation, for our generation. And that's kind of how life is weird like that. Life is odd. Isn't it funny how life works? There's an old quote, when you kill a tyrant, his rule ends. But when you kill a martyr, his rule just begins. I'm going to tell you right now, 1,000 Charlie Kirks were born September 10th, 2025. You think you can silence that? You can never. There will be 1,000 or more, maybe 10,000 young men and women that are now inspired even more so to do what he did, and maybe do it better. You cannot silence people that are true to what they believe in. You could try. It won't work. His legacy will live on bigger and greater than ever before, and it's unfortunate that he himself is gone. His human form, his vessel is gone, and his wife and young children are left alone to relive the worst day of their life over and over again in HD because of social media, and to add insult to injury, have to gut-wrenchingly read the posts of ignorant and evil, uneducated, echo-chambered morons laughing and celebrating his death. My heart truly goes out to you. I never even knew Charlie Kirk, but I was pretty devastated and shooken up over this for the past 4 days, or however long it's been, 3 days. I do feel that this is the Great Awakening. Notice that no protests or cities burnt after this either. Now, Trump, I'll give him some credit. He did give a presidential-like speech. He seemed more, quote-unquote, presidential on his speech. Now, then again, some people are calling out that speech looked like a deep fake, that it was AI. I don't know what to believe anymore. How are you going to believe anything? But Trump did clear his schedule, apparently, and gave a nice paid homage and honored him to the nation, which is what he deserved. Remember, this guy was not a politician. He didn't make decisions for anyone. He had no control over anything. He was just a guy sharing his opinion with the world. And the best part is he wasn't up there giving a lecture or a rant or a sermon. He was allowing the public to speak in counter argument to his points. He was literally giving a voice to those that didn't have a voice. Now, my argument to that is, oh, he took advantage of the young kids. They didn't know any better. They weren't young kids. These are Ivy League colleges. You should be able to have the rhetoric and persuasion skills to debate the points you so desperately cling to and claim embody your entire essence. If you can't defend what you believe in, then you believe in nothing. Stand for something or fall for anything. If you can't articulate an argument over it, that's your fault. Charlie Kirk didn't go to college. You are in a great college. You should be able to stand toe to toe with them. He's giving you the microphone. People make it seem like it's so easy. You have to be smart to take on 2,000 people and any point they may bring up just to be ready to counter argument it. It wasn't easy what he did. But what he did was not harmful. Even if he had the hottest, terrible, worst take that you completely disagreed with, we don't kill people because we disagree with them. Do you understand that? If we start making this the standard, we can then justify taking up violence against people over a difference of opinion on a football game outcome. You understand that? How dare he like the Cowboys? I I despise the Cowboys. You see what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope. It is a slippery slope. I'm not getting into the conspiracy stuff. It's too early. I can't be these people that look at every little thing. The black dot on a shirt moving, the hand signals behind him, the old guy with his pants down that wasn't even the guy, the suspect. I don't know. They got this new guy today, this young kid, 20 years old. Who knows if it's him? I don't know. There's weird stuff with Israel. They were the first to report on his death. There's books on Amazon that say the death of Charlie Kirk that was publication date the day before. I don't know. I'm not getting into the conspiracies yet. Right now, I'm just reflecting on the event, and that's it. Trump's speech was interesting. I don't even know if he has any human qualities anymore. He's kind of a cold guy too. I assume this hits home to Trump because he was centimeters away from the same fate as Charlie Kirk. He was also almost assassinated multiple times, actually, but one in Butler, PA, way closer than the other. And unfortunately, Charlie, it actually happened. So I ponder how Trump felt when he heard that and saw that, if he had any humbling thoughts or grateful thoughts. Who knows? Who knows? Both shooters, this guy allegedly, and the guy from Butler, PA, they're very young. These are these young guys that are taking up arms against people they disagree with, and they're all like socialist, anti-fascist people. It makes you wonder, how does this happen? When I was 20 years old, all I cared about was my truck and getting beer from a convenience store that would sell it to me and partying with college girls and being with my friends. I wasn't I wasn't hateful of people and plotting these violent acts. I don't think you should be at 20 years old or at any age, but definitely not 20 years old in America, a first world country that has an abundance of everything. Get off the phone, stop reading these manifestos, stop reading these cringe radical talking points, stop living in echo chambers, get off Reddit, get off 4chan, get off whatever you're on. Touch some grass, go to the gym, meet a significant other, do something with your life. It's not that serious. And who are you to take someone's life that you disagree with? All you people celebrating, all I could say to you as someone who tries to do the right thing and as a Christian man, sinner just like everybody else, openly and honestly imperfect, trying to be better every day. Please do not wish death on others. And if you already have and it's done, say you're sorry for it, repent. Because, man, will it be awful when it happens to you or if it happens to you. If you are out there and you're a woman, like a lot of you are, There's one local girl around here. She was a woman, actually. She's a teacher. Put something horrible up, getting a lot of backlash for it. There's talk of her getting fired. She was actually my teacher back in the day, ironically. Local woman. All I'm saying is keep it in perspective. What if someone disagreed with you and then they shot your husband? How would you feel? And then what if you saw people on Facebook saying, good, I'm happy. He had terrible views. You'd be devastated. You can't even imagine the hell that Charlie Kirk's wife and family are going through right now. The guy was a son, was a husband, a father. Like, have you no soul? Like, who are you people? Who cares what the guy thought about things? Wake up. Snap back to reality. It's just infuriating. What I hope doesn't happen with this politically is that Trump uses this violence to justify the takeover of these cities, like the militarization of these cities, like he did in DC, like he was talking about with Chicago. And I hope none of this was pre-orchestrated. For the love of everything that's good, I hope it's not pre-orchestrated. But it does seem fishy. Some things seem fishy. But I don't want Trump turning every city into a militarized Gestapo land, you know? That's not the answer to this. But I think a lot of people are vulnerable and emotional right now on the right and may be blinded by this. They may agree to the militarization of cities, sending the military into these cities to stop crime when it really looks like a Gestapo type takeover. We don't want that either. What scares me is that scenario, like a martial law, forceful takeover to justify this violence. That's not the answer either. You can't fight fire with fire. What really freaks me out is that we may be in end times, which I've been talking about, ironically, for a long time. And I even said September 23rd might be the date. There's too much evil stuff going on, I'm being honest. Either way, can't stop it. Revenge is in the hands of the creator. Remember that. Don't take it into your own hands. All I could say is prepare and save your soul. That's all I could say. Save your soul. It's early September. Who knows what's going to happen? This month is going to be odd. You heard it here first. Rest in peace, all those that died on 9/11. Rest in peace, Iryna or the poor Ukrainian woman, Zarutska, on the train. And rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. You were an inspiration to a lot of people. Like I said, I watched you. I didn't agree with everything you said, but I thought you were a bright guy. I thought you were an intelligent guy, and I definitely didn't think you were evil. I think what you were doing was, I think your intentions were there. I think you offended some people, but if you don't offend some people, what are you really doing? You can't have everyone agreeing with you. This isn't a class president of a high school. This is reality. People have different opinions. Your approach was right to meet people, to extend an olive branch, to allow them to have an opportunity to have discourse with you. And I will always admire that. And I aspire to be, I don't know, 1/10 of the influencer you were. Of course, I would have a different message, but if I could bring the good you brought, it would make me pretty proud. My show is small, like I said. Maybe one day it'll be big. I hope something I say one day doesn't get me in that situation. Can you imagine that? That's the world we live in. Am I going to be afraid of that? No. Never back down for what you believe in. If I say anything that offends anyone, I'm sorry, and I'm willing to talk about it. Mostly my stuff is lighthearted comedy, usually, but you still never know. You never know. The further a society drifts away from the truth, the more it will hate those who spread it. That's all I could say. My heart actually hurts. Like, I really feel the loss. It Really bothers me, you know? Like I say, like my show is small. I hope it doesn't happen to me, but you don't even have to be an influencer to get randomly killed. That's how ephemeral life is. That poor woman on the train, she wasn't offending anybody with her views, and it still happened to her. It's just a battle of good and evil. Remember, each and every one of you watching, you have a wonderful life. If you're alive and you're breathing, you have a wonderful life, and you have a little bit of power while you're here, while you're able to make it a slightly better place or worse. It's up to you. I would leave this place better than you came into it if possible. That's my recommendation to you. And how you do that's totally up to you. Give something back, don't just take. And if you have a chance to be good or evil, please try to be good. These are simple things. This is like kindergarten, but I feel like we are so disconnected from that sometimes people forget. Rest in peace to all those people. Charlie Kirk, you will be missed. I'm going to keep fighting the good fight. Small audience, but I will always speak the truth, my truth, what I believe to be true. And sometimes it'll be funny, sometimes it'll be serious. But if I could make someone's day a little bit better or inspire somebody, then I consider that a win. I'm going to say, may God bless every one of you. What helps me won't help you, but maybe try to get to know Jesus Christ if you could. That's what I would say. Now, that means something different to everyone, but give it a read. Look into it. May help your life. That's all I could say. And if it doesn't, oh well. It's like trying a muffin you didn't like. Just don't try it again if you didn't like it. If you kind of liked it, maybe buy it again next time at the store. Maybe buy it again. Maybe try it again. Maybe tell someone else about it. Up to you. But please, for the love of everything, don't commit evil acts. Don't hurt anyone, and definitely don't kill anyone over a difference of opinion. With that being said, stay curious, my friends. Good night.